Hi, I'm Elizabeth Glowacki. I'm a postdoctoral teaching associate in the Department of Communication Studies. I teach a variety of classes in the department, but this semester I'm teaching interviewing, communication theory, and then a capstone class, seminar in communication. Adaptability is the most important thing right now, especially with communication courses where we try to focus a lot on presentations and speaking skills and discussion. It can be quite a challenge to transfer some of that content over to an online space. And so I've handled this a bit differently for each of my courses. For one of my classes, I record all of my lectures using Kaltura, which is an online video capturing program available through Blackboard. And so what's nice about that program is that they're able to see both my face and the slides simultaneously, and they can view those slides and hear me whenever they'd like to. And one of the benefits of that format is, I have a lot of students in different time zones and all over the country and different parts of the world. And it can be a challenge to find a time where everyone can really meet. So this asynchronous content is a nice way to make sure that everyone can stay connected with the material. They can view the slides and listen to me whenever they'd like, and then they can go back and review the slides. And so I've gotten some positive feedback from students who say that it's a nice format for them. Every class calls for a unique situation. And one of the things that I've realized, part of just adapting to this new world, is that you really have to prioritize critical information. Ideally, all of the content would be presented and it would all be the most important. But what I've done for at least two of my classes is that I posted recordings of the lectures that contain the most critical information, and that was the content that was covered on the exams. I also posted a series of lectures, where the content it's important and I would like for the students to know it, but I posted as optional lectures so the students could go back and view those on their own time. And so I think it also helps the students just keeps things organized. It helps with time management when, as an instructor, you can say, here's what's most critical to know for this course. And then here's some additional content. It would be helpful if you know this, but now you have the leeway to take the time to go through that content as well. I've also done live office hours, which I think the students appreciate as well. I think having the live sessions works really well when it's a small group. So either one-on-one or a few students. And so I try to save the live sessions for those meetings. But then when it comes to the larger lecture content, I find that recording those is helpful just because of what I mentioned. The students can review the content on their own. And it's also helpful to be redundant with regard to posting too. So for example, I will post my recorded lectures, and then I will also post the slides as a separate document. And then I will also make sure I post any links that were in the lecture, any readings or documents, because you never know when technology might fail or when there's a bad internet connection. And so I think it's helpful to have some overlap in that sense, to just make sure you give students the most opportunities to access resources as possible. A nice surprise has been just the students' willingness to also be flexible and patient. They understand that it's a difficult situation for everyone, including faculty. And so, for example, in two of my classes, we recently took an online exam, and I included a question on there that said, on a scale of 1 to 10, to what extent have the recorded lectures been helpful? And I left an open box so the students could type in their own responses. And for the most part, I got a lot of comments that said, we missed the in-class discussion, it's not the same, but this format is helpful, and we recognize that, it's the best option for what's going on. So I really appreciate the students and their willingness to also be flexible. And really, you never know what the students have going on at home either. And so I think it's important that instructors realize that, there could be barriers in place to online learning that we're not aware of. So it's a really nice situation when both the faculty and students are understanding and flexible with one another. So that's been really encouraging. Our chair has done a really nice job of facilitating a sense of community even in online spaces. We had a faculty meeting about 2 weeks ago. There were about 30 or so faculty members who attended, and everyone just really pulled together, participated in the faculty meeting. Even outside of that, there have been email chains with faculty. We're all sharing resources together. We're sharing our experiences with different online teaching platforms, what's worked for us, what hasn't worked for us. Even before the decision was made to go online, I spent a lot of time talking with my office mate about online teaching options. And those were some of the most productive experiences, just the two of us brainstorming back and forth. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? And so really just having that sense of, here's what might be coming. How can we prepare now? And to still feel connected to my colleagues and fellow faculty members throughout all this has been a huge help in terms of maintaining some sense of normalcy. So I credit the chair of my department a lot, Gail Herbeck, for keeping us all on task.